How's it going, everybody? In today's video, we got a breakdown of the events for this week, Cupid store priorities, and the Lilandra events, what you can expect from that in the coming weeks. And today I'm joined by the math man, Scotty. How's it going, Scotty?
Good.
Good. Now, you might notice the missing live pool who's been doing these math videos with me and having his interactive charts. Live pool, I love him. He's starting to get a little bit burnt out on the game, and I don't want to bother him. He was 100% like, no, I'll still do the math videos and all that, but I want him to focus on playing the game, rekindle that love, because I do think there's a lot of cool stuff happening in Marvel Strike Force right now, and then he's going to be back. And we're going to find a way to three-man these event videos in as fun a way as possible. But for now, let's break these events down the old school way. All right, Scotty, this is your sheet. Now, these sheets are available on the Discord in the Scotty's Math channel, so you can go ahead and check these out. This is just going to be a way to keep track of the amount of cores you need to do, what sort of inputs you need to take care of for these events. So, Scotty, why don't you walk us through the web milestone? Pretty simple stuff, right?
Yeah, so this is similar to the web milestone that we just finished, which you're just spending the Liberty energy. Except last time it was 6 days, and this time it's 8 days, but it's still the same amount of points needed. So you definitely don't have to spend any cores because you'll have more than enough points. Even if you started at 0 energy, like a lot of us did, because we spent probably all of it on the last milestone.
Yeah.
This is going to give us milestone points for the main solo event for In Love and War. But it also gives us 80k Cupid arrows, which is points for that, but also is currency to spend in the store. But just spend your free energy. Don't waste any cores on it.
Right on, yeah. And we're going to talk about the Cupid's arrows and how we are personally spending them and where we think the value lies. But before we do that, let's jump on over to the Hold the Line event. This is the Alliance event where we're doing war battles for collecting these allied supply orb fragments, and we're having to use certain teams on offense or defense. How friendly is this event? Because the last event, the raid event, we were able to complete it, get 800 of those purple ISO ions that everybody is always yelling about. How does this go?
It is not completable free to play for sure. It is like you can get the monthly items pretty easily because those are at the 337k, and you can get 384k free to play.
Okay.
The only issue with this is that we only have 2 wars, and I think a lot of people may not have realized, like, even if you have a crap infest, to throw them on defense, because now everybody needs to use infest twice, like once each war.
Yeah.
So if you didn't put them on defense because they're not built, you technically need to use them like on offense if they're not built.
Yeah, and that's one thing in our alliance.
With the other teams, I think it's easier, but Infest is just like the outlier, I think, for some people that may not have built it.
Yeah, and that's the one thing in like our type of alliance, right, where we're currently in, where we have a lot of newer players and they just don't have infestation built up because we couldn't get them this information quickly enough. They have to use their infestation on the offensive side. Now that is not super fun. I do want to show you how to keep track of what's going on with this alliance event right now. So it says 7,900 out of 24,000 for Astral. Just remember, this is not your personal input for the event. That 7,900 is from all of your alliance mates. So if your alliance is like us, this number is going to be lower depending on what team is in question. I think Infestation will be the hardest one to get maxed out for a lot of people. But like Scotty said, if you're at level 1, throw it on offense. Just get a loss with it. That's what we're doing. Get in there, get out, and get your milestone points. Because this does have Peggy Carter shards in it, which is pretty cool stuff. A very, very early sort of character, not really a release because it's not 100 shards, but an early character event, which is kind of cool, I guess. What's your overall feelings on this event now that you're with the Baby Alliance? How do you, because we've always been playing with the big boys, right? Where this sort of event just kind of took care of itself. But how do you feel now that it's like, oh, we got to actually manage this a little bit?
I feel like we would have had to manage it just as much before. It's like some of these teams, you don't always use the 5 of them, right? With Annihilator, sometimes you're using the 4-piece. Astral, even sometimes you're using the 4-piece. So it may actually be easier for alliances that are a little bit more chill on war to make sure you can use them. But at the same time, like, I'm not sure everyone in our alliance is going to listen to what they need to do. So there is a little bit of wiggle room. And if someone misses like a daily free claim, there might be less wiggle room.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like at high end war, it was almost more annoying when they were kind of dictating to us how to use things. It's nice that they've added the like offense or defense part to the points, but still like with teams that aren't always used as a 5-piece, this could be difficult to manage. As the infest especially, I think will be hard for some people to manage.
Fair enough. And that brings us on to what I would call the big event of the week in Love and War. So this is another War Frequest one. We are going to be earning Cupid Zeros. So that is a campaign event input. Use Absolute A-Force in War offense or defense. Kahori, Miss Marvel, and Medusa at 5, 6, or 7 stars, and open the Phoenix Awakening Orb, which is a spender-only thing. This is sort of the main weekly event. And what kind of track do you think we can get to here for free-to-play and for, casual players?
Well, let's first talk about how to get points in the event.
Okay.
So you're going to be getting Cupid arrows from the campaign nodes. The conversion is so like when the blog went live, so like what you see listed here, it's actually times 10 for a lot of these points now. Because I think they looked at like the milestones and what they wanted to be able to give us on the campaign nodes and realized they had to increase the milestones times 10 as well. So we're getting the Cupid arrows from campaign nodes. It's 40 arrows per energy, which is pretty good. And then you're also getting those Cupid arrows from the web milestone. So make sure you complete that as we talked about earlier. There is a free claim for 10K arrows every day. I don't know if the Friday is going to be extra. I estimated it at the same, but it could be more. And then you're going to be using Absolute A-Force in War to get additional milestone points, not arrows, just the milestone points. There is a Phoenix Awakening orb on the website. That gives you 150k points, but it also, in the orb itself, gives 10k arrows. And then in the offer for the orb, it gives 10k milestone points. So that's where I got the 170k total points if you do buy that orb.
Okay.
And so that's, I kind of made like a high track, a medium track, and the kind of lower tier track.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the high track.
Yeah. So this is like if you bought some of their character shards and you already have them at 7 yellow, and you're going to be using them. You decide to buy the Awakening Orb. You get lots of energy. You complete the web milestone. If you want to get what milestone is that? 18.
Milestone 18,
So if you want to get to milestone 18, you do have to spend a little bit more of the 100 core refreshes. Now you are getting store currency, so some people might want to do that regardless of what milestone they're going to hit, if they want more of that currency. And then I did put on the bottom just like how many arrows you're looking at getting with that track, with the energy, buying the orb, and all that stuff.
And we're looking at 674,000 arrows. That would be pretty good at the store. We're going to talk about the store in a little bit here, but let's break this down a little bit less. Let's go into, not having these characters at, 6 or 7 yellow stars. So this is a different track we got here. And this would get us to, I believe it was milestone 16. So skipping 17, this is 16.
So I think this is more like the, if you didn't buy their character offers on their first release, but you've been buying the passes track, you probably might have them at 5 yellow each at this point.
Yeah, you would, because I'm free to play on Medusa and Miss Marvel, and I have them already more than halfway through 4-star.
But buying passes?
No passes.
Okay.
No passes.
So if you're buying passes, then you probably should be at the 5 yellow. This is not buying the Phoenix Awakening Orb, and then still completing the web milestone. So it's a bit heavier, I think, on the cores, like an extra 200 core refreshes on the first day. But this is also not taking into account if you banked energy, if you do buy the passes, and the extra energy you might get from the passes as well. So that is going to give you some extra points, but I would kind of think of that just as more like your currency. But so this would be milestone 16 that you'd be able to hit.
And still a good amount of arrows. Actually, this is the same amount of
Yeah,
arrows. Maybe
it is because mostly the arrows are coming from spending energy. Because like having the absolute A-Force team at higher stars doesn't change how many arrows you're getting. So like they're pretty similar in the amount of arrows regardless.
Perfect. And let's go to the dorky track. This is where you're going to have relying on no character shards and very few coins. So this is going to be from milestone 15, right?
Yes. So this is completing the web milestone, daily free claims, having none of them at 5 yellow, not buying the orb, still using them in war because that does give you some points to use off. And you only have to use them once. So if that is a team that you split up, you can just use like the 4-piece twice and you'll complete it easily. Because this is like a lower milestone. So this was milestone 15. Like this is just the minimum amount of energy to hit that milestone. You may want to spend more if you want more arrows, but it is less arrows because we're spending less energy.
Yeah. So now we're down to 549,000. And honestly, let's get into game now, because I really like this store. Here's my biggest concern with this store: it's 8 days. Every store that we've had since like the turkey store has been for 40 days. This is an 8-day store, and what I want from this store personally, my priority is the Shadow King Awakened passive, because that's what makes the team actually good in war. So like this Ares ultimate, yeah, it makes him do a little bit more damage. I don't care too much about it. Medusa, I would love to get Medusa, try and get her higher stars. But because I only have 8 days, I need to be careful to make sure I have 17.5 thousand of these arrows on hand at all times. And that's just not something that you're going to have right away. You will build a surplus eventually. And when you build a surplus, we were talking about this, Scotty, this orb that has the diamonds for Old Man Logan in it. Well, why don't you just tell us how you feel about it? Yeah.
I'm just not much of a gambler. Like I think I will focus on buying the Awakened stuff whenever it's there. I'm not going to core it to refresh it and get the stuff.
Yeah.
And if I get really bad luck and the Awakened stuff isn't there and I have enough to pull one orb at the end, I might.
Yeah.
The character shards are just a bit expensive for me.
Yeah.
To spend the currency on, but maybe I'll feel different if like the Awakened stuff isn't there, like multiple sword refreshes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be chill about it though.
Yeah, me too. Because you need to get the Shadow King Awakened material to show up 20 times, I believe. I believe all the Awakens need 200 of the currency. So we have, 8 days, technically 9 days, 3 refreshes per day, 27 chances. So only 7 times can it not appear for you. So if you want to get the Shadow King Awakened passive through this sword guaranteed, you're probably going to have to do these 50 court refreshes. I take issue with that, and I'm definitely not going to. If I only end up with like 150 of Shadow King's Awakened passive, I'm going to hope that what they've done in the past is what they do again. And then we get another store right after this one where Shadow King's passive is also in that store. And then I might dump on the Wolverine diamonds. Because when you break down the math, apparently the 3 diamond pull for Old Man Logan is a 0.8% drop. So like I'm only going to do that kind of last day to dump my currency if that's what I have to do. Or I might start going for Medusa to try and get a 5th starter. This store is weird. There's no like obvious winner here unless you still need Crimson Gear. If you're still looking for Crimson Gear, this is probably going to be the best bang for your buck to help you get Mephisto faster. How do you feel about what I just said? You agree? You disagree?
I would agree.
Okay. All right. That's going to be it for the events this week and our store priority talk. So for me, guys, Shadow King passive sounds like Scotty's on the same track. He's thinking he's going to dump into that orb when he's done with Shadow King, or when he's got a surplus at the end of the event. Me, I'm kind of leaning to maybe I'll do that orb, or I might just do some character shards after Shadow King passive. But we both agree Shadow King passive takes the cake. All right, let's talk something cool. This came to us from the Marvel Strike Force player's voice. This is going to be a QR code. If you go ahead and scan this bad boy, it's going to get you 2 million gold sent to you directly in game. So that's pretty cool. I like that they are doing stuff. I don't care where the free stuff comes from. I only care that free stuff does come. And finally, for this video, we have more information on the Lilandra event. So we actually have some numbers and we know what events to expect. So for Lilandra, there's going to be 4 event inputs over 10 weeks. And they are very, very clear about this. This is actually going to be a free-to-play 7-star available character within 10 weeks, which is something that they've never done before. All level 60 plus players that regularly play the game should be able to unlock and upgrade Lilandra to 7 yellow stars in 10 weeks. Her shards will not be available for offers. Same thing they did with Silver Surfer. You can unlock, and Quicksilver, I think. You can unlock Lilandra by collecting the crystal fragments from a variety of events and making progress in the Age of X Lilandra milestones. So we have weekend crucibles. We have daily raids. Note that the daily raid milestone, which are going to be daily, they do start 10 days after the first crucible event. So if the 10-week timer starts on the 14th, then the daily raids, you're only going to get 10 weeks minus 10 days for that, okay? Then we got the Starjammer Showcase event starting in early March. These are first-time rewards only. So you do not have to spend power cores on nodes for very small amounts of her crystals, which is really, really good. I really like that very much. And then upon upgrading select Starjammers, you will gain access to their bonus showcase missions sooner, which will accelerate your progress. They bold this for a reason. This is completely optional. If you want to get Lilandra's yellow stars faster, is by having, who we now know them, Howard the Duck and Havoc. If you want to get Lilandra faster, you're going to also have to have them built up to speed up the showcase progression there. Then we got the upcoming event starting late March. No idea what this is going to be, but if it's late March, this is the anniversary. So it sounds like we're probably going to get a huge dump for Lilandra crystals, whatever you want to call them. Late March is part of the anniversary. You know, happy 7th years, everybody. And now you all have a 7 yellow star character. Let's start unlocking that Professor X. So that sounds pretty good. And I didn't even read this. Yeah, Age of X kicks off on the 14th. So it looks like the daily raids, we are going to lose 10 days of it, but that's okay. We have the charts here, not all of them, but some of them. So we know that from Crucible, every week of Crucible, we're going to get 2,500 of these crystals. We know every day from raids, we're going to get a total of 360, 7 times a week, minus 10 days, times 10 weeks, whatever you want, however you do that math, right? And what that's basically going to do is just from those 2 events, it lands us somewhere between milestones 15 and 16, which is going to get you, I believe, a just shy of a 5-star. So that's going to be your 4-star character. Super simple. Play the game. Get the character. Whatever the showcase is, it's probably going to top it up. So by the time you do that, you get that 5th yellow star. And then the event, I think the event in late March is probably going to be 300. Worth 300 of the Lilandra crystals is what I would assume. Anyway, I talked this whole time without bringing Scotty in. Scotty, how do you feel about this first time they've tried this sort of event?
I mean, it seems good. Like, it seems straightforward. I can't wait to see how they mess it up.
There you go. All right, guys, from me and Scotty, have yourselves a wonderful day. Make sure you get good Cupid arrows. Make smart purchasing decisions with those arrows. And if you're like me, start hoarding your cores, because I will be taking advantage of this showcase thing. Not because it matters to get Lilandra crystals earlier, but because if Lilandra is truly going to be 7 yellow stars free to play, I only have to invest in 2 new Starjammers to have an amazing Crucible team. And keep your eye out tomorrow when I dive into those Starjammer kits and we talk about where their true value lies. But for now, stay happy, stay healthy, have fun. For me and Scotty, we'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.